Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're rounding up very soon, right? And we're rounding up with Akram Amir, and also Jennifer is going to do her magic by introducing who he is and his startup, what they're doing, and then he will take Akram will take it up from there and share. Sorry for that. So Jennifer.
Thanks, Arome. Thank you so much. So I am thrilled to introduce Akram to you guys. Akram Amir is a CEO of AR Engineering FZ LLC, a software company that provides immersive technology tools to various organizations to help them in their learning and training processes. This is something I'm going to be very interested in. But before devoting his work full time to AR engineering, Akram worked on research studies on nanotechnology. And before that, he also worked on designing and building drones. Currently, Akram works with a team of engineers that are putting their combined knowledge and experience to work to close the knowledge and skills gap that exists in the industry by leveraging advanced XR software tools that bring the learners and professionals a higher level training that's not currently available to them. Some of the notable work that's been done by his team has involved leveraging the power of mobile devices to present complex engineering systems to engineering students, while also creating solutions for professional companies to better train their people and save costs. Akram holds a master's in science and mechanical engineering and a bachelor in engineering in aerospace technology from Coventry University. Very impressive. Can't wait to hear what you have to share with us today. Akram, take it away.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. Thank you, Ibrahim, for hosting us today. Thank you for the introduction as well. I'll be looking forward to chatting with you also after this presentation. All right, so let me share the screen and we'll go ahead. All right, so hey guys, hope you're all doing well. So yeah, as Jennifer said, this is brief about us, but here we're going to show you our work. So right now, I'm going to give you an intro about XR technology, but more focus on what we did in this area and what we did for the engineering side and the universities and so on. And I'll also get in depth into what softwares we used and what currently we have working on, what we're working on. So I'll give you a background about us. This is our team. We're a team of engineers. I am the founder. We have Yasser, the co-founder. We have Zain, software developer, and we have Mohammed, also an engineer. So basically, we have diverse backgrounds, and each of us is specialized in a unique area. And this is very important because the universities that we work with and engineering companies, they also have diverse needs, and each is in different industry as well. So, or sector of engineering. So basically, we are specialized in 3D engineering and animation, basically like creating 3D animations for various engineering systems. And we make sure that we can have it deployed in AR, VR, or even mixed reality devices. So we cover pretty much the extended reality field. So basically right now, especially after COVID, we started focusing on a couple of pain points, and we want to help out the educational sector mostly. So here's what we found out. Basically, most of the educational content is outdated, and this is what we saw when we were studying at universities back in my college days. Most of them are outdated. So what instructors have to do is go and get their own, put in their own effort, get in nice videos and presentations to present to the students. But the thing is, we can't expect the instructors to do all the work. We also have to do our part in solving that. As I'm talking about private companies and institutes that create content. So, and in the engineering side specifically, most of the engineering systems that we used to study in college, even right now, most students study, they rarely get to see them. They rarely get to put their hands on them and see how they look like, play around with them, which is very important. And also current tech solutions in the market, either they're not very flexible, you can't really change much in them, or it's not scalable. You can't deploy it to hundreds or thousands of students at the college. So we saw these challenges and pain points at the beginning. And obviously, when the pandemic came, I mean, virtual learning and an immense demand for that. Most of the students are at home. I mean, lectures became even harder to keep the students engaged in them. So these are a couple of pain points that we saw, and we said, okay, this is what we see, and this is what we have to work on to solve. So we'll show you what we did. So basically, we said, okay, if we want to solve this, we got to see who's in this sector and what have they done. So we saw, okay, so Boeing, they used AR solution to basically like reduce production time. Airbus has done similar stuff. Even Porsche and BMW have used XR tech to help out their engineers better understand problems and better solve whatever projects or problems they were working on. So okay, since the professional engineering sector, right, these big companies were able to make use of this kind of technology, why can't we bring it to our educational institutes and use it in the same way, or just modify it a little bit and use it in a simpler form that can help students? This is how we saw the approach at the beginning. And then we saw major trends happening as well. As you can see, the generation or the students that are studying at the universities and colleges, they're tech savvy. Most of them have modern devices, and we can see that. And also, if you want to look at the environment and so on, you have currently in the like a lot of the big companies in the sector and engineering side, they look for people that are innovative and that know how to they have a mindset of like improving the work environment, reducing costs, have a way of doing a project and by saving time as well. So this comes into the sustainability domain. So we want to also teach this to the students early on. We want to give them the tools so they can have the right mindset and know how to use them to this cause. And also, if you look at the technology trends, you got a lot of like especially after COVID, a lot of these industries are growing dramatically. And then you look at COVID-19 and all the effects that it had. It's also driving the trends towards adoption of not just XR but also various types of technologies. So these 4 pillars that we saw, like, okay, so we have to take this into consideration and make sure we have it embedded within our project or within our products as well, or so we can better achieve our goal. And then we said, okay, so of course, yeah, this is a slide. I'm not sure if everybody knows about XR, so I put it here just in case. So to let people know, extended reality basically is a general term that is said on 3 types of immersive experiences: virtual, augmented, and mixed reality. Basically, each of them have their own benefits. I'll give you an example. A form of virtual reality is here, the HTC Vive. As you can see, it's a headset that you put on the head. It's one of the best out there in the market currently. And in form of mixed reality, you have the Microsoft HoloLens. So we said, okay, so now we understand how, like you have in the professional side, we've seen guys like Airbus and so on, they use expensive mixed reality headsets. But I want to help out the students at colleges, right? Then what is the best or fastest way that I can get those engineering systems that I spoke about in their hands without having to let them invest heavily at the beginning? Then we saw, okay, then most of them have iPhones and Android devices, right? They have ARKit and AR core built in. Then why don't we take advantage of that, right? This is how we thought at the beginning. And then later on, if they want to scale up, okay, they can go ahead and purchase these devices. Especially with COVID, some universities don't have gatherings anymore and so on, and workshops. So taking advantage of the iPads and mobile devices is very important. I want to give you guys an insight about a research that was done as well to show you how big this market is getting as well. If you can look at this is a research that was done by PwC. It shows you how many jobs that got enhanced during 2019 by using AR and VR. And if you look at our region where we are in the Middle East, right? We don't have data of all the Middle East, but we have about the UAE where we are right now. There are roughly 42,000 jobs are expected to be. I mean, these are really great numbers. And then you look at the UK, you look at Germany, the US alone, 2 million people, right? Jobs are going to get improved by using XR. This is really brilliant, and we want to help that. And of course, if we were able to cater our development to have it available in the devices of the people, right, in their hands, rather than purchasing another VR AR headset, then this means that the scale is going to even be bigger. And we believe that this research, when they do it again next year and so on, these numbers will definitely change. So we said, okay, I would just want to give you guys a background about the industries. So as you can see here, education is like 55%. This is where the highest investment of XR is currently going. But just to give you an insight, before COVID, education wasn't the first. Actually, education was like number 3 or 4. It was construction, engineering, healthcare, manufacturing. Those industries, they were adopting XR in a big way. Education wasn't the first. But when COVID came, these numbers changed because education sector took a big hit. Of course, a lot of sectors took a big hit as well. So, but a lot of XR companies, us included, we turned our eyes to the education guys because we saw them, they needed help, right? And this was one of the reasons where we said, okay, what can we do to help out the education side? And as you can see, these numbers show that we have 55% of the investment going into the education sector. Okay, so I'm going to give you an insight on how the sector looks like. Basically, you have 3. I like this chart. It shows it's very clean. So you got companies that do hardware right here, and obviously we spoke about HCC and so on. And you got companies that do software, and you got companies that do content. At AR Engineering, we started by doing content. But the thing is, when we wanted to really have custom software for our use, right? We wanted to customize certain aspects of the software. We couldn't do that easily. So we had to team up with software developers and companies. And this is what we did. And I'll give you more insights on what we did, on who we partnered up with and what projects we worked on together. So this is a general insight about the industry. So let me just show you here some videos. So I'll show you what we're talking about. Now the video might be blurry. I'm not sure how well it's going to play. Nevertheless, it's a very high quality. Later on, you'll be able to see it. So this is on an iPad. We gave it to the students on their iPad. So basically, they open it up, and then it's for aerospace engineering students. This is a turbine jet engine. It's a Pratt & Whitney turbine jet engine. Basically, you can see the engine in 3D mode and play around with it. One of the cool things, you can just open it up, click on AR mode, and then you can display this full-scale engine right in front of you, as you can see right here. You just click on the surface, and then the engine appears. And this is something like very unique because this engine, in terms of its scale, in terms of its cost, price, and even complexity, isn't available to students, to most of the students in their colleges, right? So having the ability to give it to them in their hands, in their iPads, right, in their mobile devices, and they can just open up their iPad and so on and view it wherever they are in its full form and scale. This is something very valuable, and the feedback we got was immense. And right now we're scaling it into a larger use case. We have multiple engineering systems. I'll show it to you later, examples of what we're working on. But this was our first prototype, extremely successful. It wasn't easy to do this, of course. We also added functions, as you can see. So this engine is quite big. So you want to see internals, you want to see certain parts of it. So here's what we did. We added certain buttons where you can split the engine up. We call it exploded view. It's something in the engineering side, it's very important. So you can see internal components, you can see certain parts. You can also see how certain components are integrated within one another. And we also added the ability to scale things up. So I'll give you an example. So if you want to see this engine in its full scale, let me forward here a little bit. As you can see here, you can actually just flip this engine around, play around with it. It's a crazy big engine that you can just flip around easily. It's like it's amazing, honestly, how simple it is. When you use this in your, when you have this in your hand and you use it, you can't believe that you're just rotating a big engine like easily just by clicking a button. And so I'm holding the iPad almost my eyesight level, and as you can see, you can just walk around and see the components in their full scale. So right now, one of the advantages that we had is that you can even scale the engine up or down. So let's say I'm at home, I don't have space, right? You can just scale the object down and put it on your table, right? So that's it. You can fit it into your environment whichever way you want. So this is one of the cool things of having it on your mobile device in AR. You can fit it in whichever environment you have, and of course, not forgetting the 3D mode that we already have, that we can use anytime. Which is available since a long time ago, but we made sure that we would have it as well. So so here's the flexibility where you can just rotate it easily and go and see the component close by. If you note the quality, you can even see the bolts, the type of screw that is used. You can even see the edges on it, so you can know it's a hexagon. What type of bolt is it, or the joints, how they look like. This is how detailed. So not only is the engine presented in full, but even the small details are still visible. It took a lot of effort to optimize this, but yeah, thankfully it worked very well. So yeah, so this is basically what we did for the students. And then I want to give you a background about what we used. Basically, as you know, one of the best softwares out there is Unity, right? And in fact, more than 60% of XR projects are actually developed on Unity. That's a fact. And I believe right now the numbers is even increasing because Unity have really great plugins that have just come in. So yeah, roughly more than 60% of XR projects are actually developed on Unity. And we use a plugin on Unity, which is called PaceLab Weaver. In fact, PaceLab is a company in Germany, and they have a plugin that is on top of Weaver. I'll tell you more about. And we use this in-house. We worked with them as well to develop our own custom software, which really helped us to create whatever you saw in terms of functions, in terms of controls, and all the scene that you saw in the previous video. And one of the great things about the combination of Unity and Weaver, it enables us to actually even create more complex projects. For example, this is a VR project. Now, every video I'm going to show you right now was built using Weaver as well. So basically, this is as well as a maintenance procedure what that was done to teach maintenance engineers, right? Even students at the colleges, how to change an oil in the engine. Since our background is in the aerospace side, most of the projects are in the aerospace as well. But we do have projects in other areas that we're working on. So yeah, so all this scenarios, all these controls, the buttons, all were created on using Weaver plugin. So here as well, you can see the same ways you get procedures. You have to do step number 1 and 2 and 3. Whichever you do it, you get the next command or next step. This is something very useful and it's currently in use in multiple areas. Here is another example. This is for cabin crew. They trained the cabin crew on how to open the cabin door, right? And this scenario specifically was very successful because cabin crews, in fact, they did a study. There's a lot of cost or money that is wasted because of repetition of the test. How many times the cabin crew are repeating this test? So what they did, they said, okay, why don't we give them a simulation of the whole test and scenario before them coming to the real exam or test, so they won't have to fail much, right? And this is what they did. They gave them a VR headset. They told them, listen, go through this whole simulation and start practicing. And then they noticed that when they came to the actual test, it actually worked. They didn't fail as much. And they saved a lot of money by deploying this kind of usage. In fact, multiple airlines are actually using this right now. So this is one of the really cool things. We're seeing wide adoption of this. And yeah, so this is another example, something you can even create using the same software tools that we use. Another thing, you can even an aircraft simulator, right? You can simulate flying an aircraft using a VR headset and even connecting it with the actual physical controls. You don't even have to use the HTC Vive controller. You can even connect it with physical ones. And this is something really cool. Now a flight college actually uses this. So this is a very wonderful example. I myself, I love flying simulators since I was back in high school. So yeah, this is one project that I really like as well. Also, you have remote support. You can actually, same thing. You have the display. This is an engineer showing his colleague how to where he's pointing on the wire or where to fix the certain part, or just perhaps training him or teaching him. So that's another use case that is very beneficial. So yeah, and a lot of these you can create them using Weaver, and this is Weaver basically. I'll give you a quick background about this. So Weaver is comprised of 3 modules, all right? And I'm going to show you how each of them work. So you have the first one. The first part of Weaver is called the creator module, which is the Unity part, is where you create things and you create your environment. You put in all the functions and so on. And as you can see, this is the Weaver creator. You have a manager and a player software as well. So in the creator part is no code. So as most people know, in Unity, you need to know C#, right? But with this plugin that you have, you don't need to know C#. You can, for example, just to give you background, this is an aircraft, an A320 aircraft. Right now, we're going to create a walk around. It's a training for pilots that they do, a walk around simulation procedure training for the pilots, and we'll show you how easy is it to do here. So we're going to put it in the first step. So we say, okay, this is the front panel right here. We're going to give it a name, right? This is the oxygen door, and then the pilot has to check it. So we put in a target, we fix the camera to it, and so on. And then we click, okay, we're done. So this is the node. We put in all the functions. And now we create a second node, a second procedure. And then we create a third one. And then we connect them all together, right? And then we can do the same thing to any other step and procedure. And we get this big mesh network of steps, right? We didn't write one line of code. We just selected objects, selected functions, and that's it. And then after that, of course, we have the model that it was done ahead of time. So that's something to, of course, the scene has to be there. But yeah, that's how easy it is. You can just select things, and then you have the manager software, and this is something very unique. Not many people have this, but the way it's managed, you can upload your project that you did, and then you can manage all your users, students, and you can here's the unique thing. Check this out. You can deploy it to any device of their liking. You can give it to them in a VR headset, AR, and iPad. In fact, one of the really cool things is that you could, if you have, let's say, a group of 10 students, right? You could give it to like 5 that are using VR and 5 that are using their iPad, and both of them can do the same test at the same time, and the same results will be captured. They can pick up a mixed reality headset even. So it's their choice, and of course you have to prepare this ahead of time. But this is the nice thing in the manager. You can deploy it to any device of your need, and you can capture analytics from all of them. So we create here, as you can see, groups. We can assign the students to this group, as you can see here right now. We created a session. Of course, us at the universities, what we do, we create classes. So we have civil engineering, aerospace engineering department. We have so on. It's the same thing. And here, as you can see, you can have the students in this session. And then after they finish the session or the exam or the test or the quiz, you can see the analytics. You can see the results. You can compare them all together. You can see timing, charts, executions, and so on. And this is a really nice thing about the manager software. And then here is it's an insight about the player, which is basically the Weaver player, which is either the VR environment or the IR. But this is the walk around, as we showed, the pre-flight check, as we showed you. And here in the guided mode, which is just a mode to teach the pilots what to do, as you can see. So this is the scene that we just created in Unity. You go here and then you select yes, it's ready to fly, and so on. So this is the basic insight, and this is what we did with the Weaver. We created our own platform here, as you can see. We have our own versions that we did for engineering students available on various devices. And I'm coming to the end right now, so we can have time for the questions. So and then we created these 3 modules, same thing for engineering students. And these are the benefits that we saw, and these are actual results. We can discuss them later on. But basically, as you can see, the knowledge retention and the median recall accuracy, how well they are. And then, of course, I want to thank you all for attending today, and we would like to just chat together and answer any questions, and we'll discuss more of these things more in depth. So yeah, these are our details. You can contact us whenever you like. So yeah, back to you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Very
welcome.
interesting demos, I must say.
Yeah,
Already have feedback from the audience. Mind blowing. I love the concept. Cheers. Right, so well done.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim. Thank you.
Very well done. And I know we're short on time, Akram, but a couple things I'll leave you with, and then we can connect later on some of these topics. As someone that's been in the learning space for a very long time and a senior executive in large organizations that would actually be one of your clients here, one of the things I would say is, everybody's exploding in the education space right now. Lots of great stuff going on. Really interested in your angle around academic institutions versus industry. There's a lot of work that's going on right now to make sure that we're coordinating competency models across both the academic institutions and industry. There's a disconnect right now, and it's not preparing graduates for actual jobs in the workplace. So there's some great stuff you could probably connect into around that would help you to kind of get a good vision for your differentiators and the ways in which you may want to approach the academic space that kind of capitalizes on some of this investment that's happening in the industry. Would be happy to talk to you about that sometime when we have more of an opportunity. I think you've shown us some great stuff and really demonstrated the pace of what's happening in the learning space right now. Lots of players in the game, lots of tech out there. I think you guys are doing something amazing and would love to support in any way that I can. So we'll connect offline later and I'll give you some more thoughts. But
thanks a lot for the advice, and Jennifer,
you bet. Get connected in though, because competencies and credentials are huge, especially in the space you're talking about. Because as you say, qualifications are essential for people to do the work. So big part of that and something to look into. Arome, over to you.
Great, thank you so much, Akram.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well done. All the best to your startup, and also I wish you the very best.
Yeah, thank you, Arome. Thank you.
Thank you,
Jennifer.
So much.
It's
Thanks
a pleasure seeing you. Bye-bye.
Best of luck to you.
Bye. Take care.
Great. That was a very nice one. Interesting demos, I must say. And looking forward to connecting with him soon and see what's possible, see what we can create together. Jennifer?
Just more of the same, right? That you just said. I think it was a great demonstration of bringing an idea to life and being able to communicate that to people. So nice job, Akram, on that. I can't wait to see where they're headed next. It looks like their future is bright.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you all for watching. We're switching on to another startup in the XR space, doing great stuff also. And you guys should join us on that session. So thank you all for watching, and see you soon.